I saw Joker. Now I'm an incel. So I took the missus to see Joker the other day, and I'm not usually a huge movie person, let alone a go to the cinema to see a movie person, but there was something about Joker that tempted me enough to drag my ass down there, pay for a couple of gold class tickets and a big fuck off bucket of popcorn, and do my best to sit relatively still for a couple of hours. And to be honest, it wasn't the fact that it was kinda sorta a Batman prequel. I couldn't give a fuck about Batman. It wasn't the cast, although I do like Joaquin Phoenix, he absolutely smashed it in Walk the Line. It wasn't even the box office success and rave reviews it's had since it came out. In fact, it was quite the opposite. I wanted to see Joker because of all the uproar it had caused among the woke left. All the outrage and butthurt and talk about incels and racism and straight white males and fucking Trump's America and all that shit. If a movie can cause that much of a stir, then I want to see it. There was one article in particular from CNN that I read prior to seeing the movie, and we're going to go back over that article in this video because having now seen the movie, it just reads like absolute satire. Give me a minute to plug this video's sponsor, then we'll get into it. Introducing Raid Shadow Legends, the mega hit game bringing you an epic dark fantasy done right, hundreds of champions to collect and zero cartoons. Raid Shadow Legends is a brand new collection RPG game that is taking the mobile gaming landscape by storm. More than 10 million players worldwide have already downloaded the game in less than 6 months. And best of all, the game is free to play. What I love about this game is that everyone can find something to suit themselves, whether it's the deep, fully voiced story campaigns or taking to the arena for live PvP combat. Personally, I really enjoy building and collecting my own epic battle team from over 400 champions and 16 heroic factions. Check out the amazing graphics and details on those champions, and in Raid you have the ability to personally customize and choose the artifacts and design a unique mastery build for each one of them. The game is growing super fast and the highly anticipated new Faction Wars feature is now live. And there is an awesome rewards program for new players. Get a daily login reward for the first 90 days in the game. With more than 300,000 reviews, Raid has an almost perfect score on the Play Store. Click the special links in the description, and if you're a new player, you'll get 100,000 silver, plus 1 energy refill, plus 1 day XP booster, plus 1 free champion executioner. Good luck, and I'll see you there. Joker, a political parable for our times. Joker, the Todd Phillips movie that reimagines the origins of Batman's killer clown nemesis, opened this weekend to record-setting box office, fueled by deft marketing and some of the most polarising critical reaction of any mass-market film in decades. Further fueling the hype around the movie, a shocking Golden Lion win at the Venice International Film Festival, and a joint bulletin from the FBI and Department of Homeland Security warning about the online threats of mass shootings at Joker screenings. Set in a very thinly disguised New York City, Phillips's version of the Joker story has its protagonist Arthur Fleck, a middle-aged working-class man who lives with his invalid mother. Fleck works as a clown for hire, while fantasizing about romancing the lovely single mother who lives down the hall. He's brutalized by young thugs, he's beaten by suit-clad Wall Streeters, and his answer to this dual pincer of oppression by people of colour is a murderous rampage of revenge. A dual pincer of oppression by people of colour and 1%ers. I didn't even know the kids that mugged him at the start were fucking Latinx. Did you?
No.
Which catches fire among fellow angry citizens of Gotham and sends them looting through the streets. While many reviewers have focused on Fleck as an incel hero, his status as a sexless loner who turns to violence, the true nature of the movie's appeal is actually broader. Don't incels have to be virgins? There's nothing about his character that suggests he's never had sex before or had a girlfriend before. It's an insidious validation of the white male resentment that helped bring Donald Trump to power. Okay, I'm not sure if we were watching the same fucking movie, but I didn't see any insidious validation of white male resentment that helped bring Donald Trump to power. What the fuck even is that? Joker, at its core, is the story of the forgotten man, the metaphoric displaced and disenfranchised white man whose goodwill has been abused and whose status has been reduced, a man who has been crushed underfoot by the elite, dragged down by equality-demanding feminists, and climbed over by upstart non-white immigrant masses. No, didn't see that. There was literally nothing in this movie about fucking immigrant masses or feminists. What the fuck is this guy talking about? Phillips clearly wants Joker to yank at the chains of a society that has increasingly found the shock-fueled style of storytelling less relevant and more problematic. It's worth noting that since Phillips' breakthrough hit The Hangover, his box office totals have trended downwards in almost linear fashion. Yeah, except for this movie, which, you know, broke records and shit. But linear fashion! This goal was made explicit in Phillips' attacks on the outrage culture of the far left and his extended complaint to Vanity Fair that the anything goes douchebro comedy genre he helped launch and run aground on the iceberg of political correctness. Go try to be funny nowadays with this woke culture, he told them. Comedies don't work anymore, he said, because all of the comedians are afraid of offending people. So I go, how do I do something irreverent? Oh, I know, let's take the comic book movie universe and turn it on its head. After watching Joker, it's easy to decode what Phillips really meant in this quote. And it's the same thing that fired SNL cast member Shane Gillis meant when he excused the repeated use of racist, misogynist and homophobic slurs as pushing boundaries. It draws from the same well of resentment that Trump strums with his racist rhetoric at his rallies. The fear of no longer being at the centre of the political, social and cultural universe, with everyone who isn't you positioned at its perceived edges. After all, being racist, sexist and anti-gay only pushes boundaries if you define yourself as normal and define non-white, non-male and non-straight people as marginalised outsiders. You see what I mean? It's like satire. Like, how the fuck did he get here? It doesn't quite seem like coincidence that Fleck and his mother reside in a run-down building that seems otherwise occupied by non-white tenants, prompting Mother Penny to assert that if her old employer Thomas Wayne saw how they were living, he would be disgusted, or that the movie opens with an attack on Fleck by black and Latinx youth, referred to by one of Fleck's fellow white male clowns as savages and animals. Yeah, they were savages and animals. They beat the fuck out of him. He didn't say that because they were black or Latin. This man subsequently offers Fleck a gun. Gotta protect yourself, he says. It also doesn't seem accidental that all the incidental characters Fleck encounters are black. The social worker who tunes him out during counselling sessions, the woman on the bus who fearfully shoos him away from her toddler, the admin who tries to prevent him from getting his mother's hospital records, and the object of his desire, played by Zazie Beetz. Okay, let the record show this guy thought there were too many black people in Joker. In 1968, after Richard Nixon was elected president, Peter Schrag cited forgotten Americans as the primary reason for his victory. White working class voters who were once the hero of the civic books, the bone and sinew of the country, Schrag wrote. Now he's the forgotten man, perhaps the most alienated person in America. Trump, in his 2016 victory speech, paid similar homage to the forgotten men. But while Schrag pointed to Nixon's law and order based platform as his key appeal to the alienated forgotten white male, Trump won by using outrageous statements, theatrical posturing and grimacing mockery to generate raucous mob energy, the very opposite of law and order. White men in particular responded to his rhetoric and persona, seeing in him a disruptor of oppressive correctness who could lead them back to the top of the heap and the centre of the world. This isn't the first time Phillips and Trump's worlds have collided. When his last film War Dogs came out, Phillips said in an interview with Little White Lies, "Also, there's a thing going on right now where the world as a whole is waking up to the fact that the system is rigged. It happens to be Trump's theme." Even though Phillips notes, Trump is part of the system that created these problems. At the end of the movie, a triumphant Fleck, seemingly dead but magically revived by the cheers of a throng of clown-masked rioters, does a grotesque soft shoe on top of a shuttered cop car, literally dancing on the destroyed remains of the rule of law. Imagine Fleck as Trump, shrugging off impeachment, rebounding with his roaring red-hatted supporters, winning re-election against every prediction and probability. Phillips may not have intended for his film to be a political parable, but it's hard to imagine a darker ending for our real-world horror comedy than that. You see what I'm saying? After having seen the movie, revisiting this article makes it seem like something from The Onion. I mean, this guy could go and see Mary Poppins, and he'd bring it back to racism and Orange Man bad. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.
Recession! Give me better times, give me better times. Recession!